You don't need to explain yourself to them. They're irrelevant. Haters, jealous people, people who are trying to make your life hard, they're irrelevant. You don't need to explain why you do what you do, how you do what you do, why you feel a certain way, why you responded or reacted a certain way. People who are haters, jealous, miserable, and or toxic, they know exactly what they're doing. They know the reason why you're mad at them. They know the reason why you don't deal with them. They know the reason why you are choosing to stay away from them. People who are jealous, miserable, and haters, they know exactly what they're doing, but they act delusional because they want to guilt you into somehow apologizing for stating the obvious. See, if you're a woman who doesn't deal with people's crazy behavior and you don't let them, manipulate you and trick you into dealing with the bad behavior, they look at you as if you had no right to speak up. You had no right to get distant. You had no right to remove your presence from them. Some people, they want to be able to make your life miserable in peace. And when you don't give them that, suddenly they want an explanation. You don't explain yourself to haters, jealous, miserable people. They're irrelevant. What do I mean by they're irrelevant? People who deliberately go out of their way to make your life miserable as possible. People who get a kick out of getting a rise out of you, out of getting you frustrated and angered. People who do nothing but bring drama and chaos into your life. They are irrelevant. Those people you can easily walk away from and not care. And I know some people might say that's a little bit savage, that's a little bit crazy. That doesn't really sound godly. How about this? If you are protecting yourself from the enemy and you're not to engage with the enemy, why would you surround yourself with your enemies who are constantly making things hard for you? That's not godly. See, people try to use, sometimes spirituality and giving people grace and those kind of things to trick you into dealing with disrespectful and downright dangerous behavior. And that's something we don't do. Unbothered, leveled up, focused, feminine, unapologetically wise, discerning women don't deal with people who try to make their life miserable. They're irrelevant. And you're not wasting your time trying to get in their good graces and figure out why they are acting toxic, why they're being a hater, why they're being jealous and envious, why they're just trying to make things hard for you. If people have a pattern of doing things to try to trigger you to some kind of anger, that's a wicked spirit, in my opinion. People who go out of their way to try to get you to feel bad and try to bring some kind of drama and chaos into your life, they're just full of turmoil. Those kind of people will never let you see peace. Those kind of people actually see you doing well and they deliberately come into your life to bring some kind of negativity. They call it like a reality check, as if living a positive life, trying to focus on God as much as possible, working and doing what you need to do for yourself as a woman, as a person, they don't see that as normal. They like to shake things up with a little dysfunction. But see, you don't explain yourself to people who are irrelevant. See, haters, jealous people, miserable people who try to make life hard for you, they're irrelevant. And you're not going to explain the reason why you dismiss them from your life. You're not going to explain the reason why you might have had a moment of getting frustrated or angered. People who are toxic and miserable and like to play the victim when they've been found out to be a hater or they've been found out to be a toxic person, they like to reverse it and make you appear as if you are the villain, as if you are the problem, as if you are the one who needs to be dealt with simply because you dealt with them. And see, it comes to a point in life, especially for women, the more calm you become, the more focused you become, the more you just crave and love and enjoy peace, the less appealing drama is to you. Drama and its cousin chaos and just all the things that resemble that kind of life, you want no parts of it. You don't want any parts of people who come into your life to try to shake things up, They think it's somehow being fun or intriguing when actually it's just dysfunction and chaos and a whole lot of hateration. You don't have to explain yourself to irrelevant people. They're haters. You don't owe them an explanation. Women who decide that, I don't want this for me anymore. I don't want to be associated with certain types of people. You'll have some people who will look at you as if you are making yourself out to be more than what you actually are. And see, people who look at you in that way, it's generally because they don't have any self-worth. They don't have any self-love, and they really don't have anything to focus on in their lives. They're just agents of chaos. And see, when you're a woman who starts recognizing, or you start, beginning to understand that being filled with drama, always having issues, always having problems, that's not normal. And people who are programmed for drama, people who are programmed for chaos, they'll say that you're a little sensitive, you're a little soft, simply because there's certain things you don't want to deal with. And that's when they want you to explain yourself. I don't understand why you're acting this way. I don't understand. And this is the kicker. For some people, when you recognize their bad behavior, they want to say, oh, you're being disrespectful. Do you know how demeaning it is to tell a grown woman, when she responds to somebody's negativity, somebody's jealousy, envy, or just all out toxicity toward her, they respond with, you're being disrespectful? That is like a slap in the face. As grown women, some people really like to treat you as if you are like, what did they used to say back in the day? You just fell off the turnip truck. Some people treat you as if you have no right to even recognize the toxic things they're doing. And when you do, they try to shift the blame, try to turn things around and make it seem like you're the problem. They're the problem, and you don't owe them any explanation. People who are jealous and envious and haters, they want you to explain the reason why you are the way you are, why you don't let them do what they want to do to you. And unfortunately, I've been in this situation where I've had people actually try to make me feel bad for not tolerating their toxic behavior. They try to make me feel bad for not accepting the fact that, this person is showing a little bit of envy. They're always saying something negative. They're always kind of putting down what I'm doing. I don't have to deal with this. And God forbid you kind of just state the obvious about the person, because this is the quiet part out loud. You'll normally be hated on by people who are not doing as great as you, or they're not even trying to do what you're doing. But because they see you doing it, because they see you living it, suddenly you're the bad guy. And now they want to bring all this negative energy into your life in an attempt to get you out of character, out of alignment, and unfocused. These people are irrelevant, and you do not owe them any explanation. And this is not about classism. This is not about elitism. You're not looking down on someone. You're dealing with the people who are trying to come up against you. The one delusion that many people believe is that somehow you're supposed to take mistreatment laying down. And you as a woman, you're not going to take somebody's jealousy, somebody's envy, somebody's hateration, somebody's toxic behavior. You're not going to just take that laying down and say, you know what, whatever. No, you're either going to ignore them, you're going to get away from them, or if you have to be around them, you're going to make sure that they are not able to comfortably disrespect you. You're going to make sure that they're not comfortably able to get away with the things they're trying to do without them being aware that you know. You see, people who are haters, who are jealous and toxic, they're depending on you to be delusional. They're depending on you to be the kind of woman that says, you know what, that's just how they are. That's just how she is. I can't stand people, and this is a little bit of a sidebar, I can't stand people who pass off their toxic, miserable, bad personality as somehow that's just how they are. Being a jerk, being a backside person, being a donkey, that is not a personality trait. That is a character defect. that is something that needs to be worked on. And some people try to disguise their bad personality, their bad character, and say that's just them. And they expect you to accept it. When you get to a certain point in life as a woman, you start realizing you don't have to accept everything. You don't have to accept people mistreating you. You don't have to accept people putting you down. You don't have to accept people speaking to you in a way that makes you feel like a child or makes you feel like you're less than. You don't have to accept anything, whether it be in your family or whether it be in your employment. You know, some people, they just kind of put their head down and just deal with certain things because they feel like their money is attached to it. And I'm not saying that you don't show respect where respect is due, but when people are mistreating you and disrespecting you, that can be corrected. You know, yes, we bear up under a lot of things, and this is a little bit of a sidebar. We bear up under a lot of things. We give people the benefit of the doubt sometimes. But women who used to do that all the time and constantly got burned, they realize that that kind of thing gets old real quick. So you just start making moves that line up with the life you want and the woman that you are today, and you don't care how it looks to other people. You know, these people are irrelevant. They're haters. You don't owe them an explanation. If people think that you came off as mean or you came off as being, you know, whatever, because you corrected them or because you walked away from them, so what? It really takes a woman growing up and getting through to realize that there's really not much people can do except for be mad. You know, what are they going to do short of anything that will send them into jail? You know, what can they do other than just be mad and leave you alone? And that's what you want anyway, for them to leave you alone. So these people are irrelevant. You don't have to explain yourself to haters. Explaining yourself to haters, explaining yourself to people who just want to make life hard for you anyway, that is a waste of time. And when it comes to professional environments, if you must deal with people and they want an explanation, you have to learn how to, they call it code switching. But in the workplace, nothing wrong with code switching, telling people exactly what they want to hear, even if you don't care. Just say whatever sounds good so you can move on. And people might say, well, that's just lying. You're being fake. When you're in the workplace trying to deal with somebody who is unbearable, tell them whatever they want to hear, even if you're not following through. And I know that might be lackluster advice, but look, when you're in a professional environment with a bully or people who are trying to make yourself or make your life miserable at the workplace, tell them people whatever they want to hear so they can get out of your face. I mean, this is just literally how grown people have been doing work since the beginning of time. So nothing wrong with appeasing people if that gets them out your face and you don't have to do anything. You know, that's just grown woman 101, especially in the workplace or in professional environments. Tell them what they want to hear and move on. Going back and forth with somebody, you know, even those people who act like they care about your opinion, they value you, and they want to know what you think about something. When it's a professional environment, oftentimes they don't, and what they want will prevail. So just let them have it. Tell them what they want to hear. But in your everyday life, you don't have to deal with that. And sidebar, that's why I encourage women to be in entrepreneurship or have a side business. So that way you're not always in a mode where you have to switch on and switch off, switch on and switch off. Because even though that's a method that can work, that can get exhausting also. But the explaining yourself part, never waste your time explaining yourself to haters, miserable people, jealous people who are just going to try to make your life miserable anyway. Walk out gracefully and don't care how it looks to other people. That's really the overarching theme of this video, of this talk. It is to let you know that as women, sometimes we can't worry about what it looks like to other people when it comes to protecting yourself. Some women are so fearful of what it's going to look like to other people. They start trying to explain away the reason why they got upset, the reason why they walked away, the reason why they let somebody have it. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Even with all of your femininity, with all of your grace, with all of your spirituality, Some battles you're going to win and some you're going to lose. And a person who is trying to provoke you to be angry, provoke you to be, in a state of rage and panic or whatever, those people know exactly what they're doing. So trying to explain to them the reason why is a waste of time. You have to be gracious with yourself more than you are with haters, jealous people, people who are deliberately, I mean those who are deliberately trying to make life hard for you. You have to be more gracious and kind to yourself than you are with them. Some women have it backwards. They give the hater the benefit of the doubt and then continue to subject themselves to the bad behavior while they explain over and over and over again why you keep coming out of character. It's because you're still around that hater. It's because you're still around that person that's making life miserable for you. These people are irrelevant. You don't owe them an explanation. They're a hater. Stop wasting your time and energy on people who do nothing but bring drama and chaos into your life. Am I saying become hard and callous and stoic as if nothing bothers you? Absolutely not. Am I saying that you should never care about a person, even those who clearly have some kind of problem? Absolutely not. But you can love those people. You can pray for those people. You can help them from a distance. You don't have to be in their presence and subject yourself to their toxic behavior. Detoxing from Toxic People, which is a book I have available on Amazon. You can get that. People need to understand that you're not obligated to deal with their toxicity. I don't care how spiritual somebody think you are, how they try to use your religion or what you believe against you and use that as an excuse for you to put up with whatever they're doing to you. You can't be manipulated in that way. These people, their behavior and the way they're acting, at this point, they're irrelevant. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't explain yourself to haters or toxic people. You're just as valuable as the next person. And when you realize that, you soon stop feeling bad about the way you spoke to someone or the way you walked away or how you acted in a moment. I speak not from judging, but from experience, because I used to be the woman, I would deal with so many toxic, very negative people. And sometimes I lost those battles. I came out of character. And then I would come home and talk to my husband and I would ask God to forgive me. And I would feel bad because I didn't cuss this person clean out. I was very, very upset. It almost appears that I gave into that angry black woman stereotype in certain situations. And I would knock myself down over it because I know that's not me. But I would constantly allow myself to be subjected to different people and then all of a sudden trying to backtrack and try to apologize and explain and all of that. Not until I got to be a grown woman, more spiritually sound, more focused, did I understand that provoking spirits, that's really a thing. People who have a agitator spirit, who have a provoking spirit, who are very devilish and wicked in their ways, they know how to bring the worst up out of you. And that's not negating responsibility on yourself. Self-control, as I believe, is the fruit of the spirit. So it's not negating that fact. But you can't escape the fact that you're dealing with demons sometimes. You're dealing with people who are right out wicked, and they know how to bring the worst up out of you. That's why protecting your circle, protecting your peace, curating an environment where you're not going to constantly be in a defense mode all the time, that's very important, especially if you want to be the kind of woman that leans into your femininity, has softness and warmth, and you want to be unbothered and focused on things that matter. You can't be around people who are constantly provoking you to anger and making you always explain yourself for the things that they triggered you to do, if that makes sense. These people are irrelevant. You do not explain yourself to haters, to toxic people, to miserable people. They don't deserve your explanation. They need to get themselves together. And you need to do the womanhood work to make sure that you are not easily being baited into dealing with toxic behavior. Get the book, How to Detox from Toxic People. It's available on Amazon, ebook and paperback form. Some people don't deserve your energy. They don't deserve your time. They don't deserve your presence. If it's family, love them from a distance. Don't become hateful. Don't become spiteful. Don't become hard or callous. Just get better at protecting your peace, because you deserve peace. We all do. And God, the way I see it, is the true giver of peace. But when you have a relationship with God, but you're still around that same environment, it's not going to work. Free yourself from the toxic people and stay focused on what matters. These people are irrelevant and they're trying to trigger you to anger. Don't explain yourself to haters. They're irrelevant. All right? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.